start, I must warn you that I will be discussing very sensitive material. I'd like to introduce you to the topic of Japanese comfort women, also known as Japanese Army System of Forced Prostitution. How many of you guys have seen the movie Taken? How many of you guys also know about human trafficking? All right, this is actually a form of this set back in World War II. My interest first started when I was taking a Women in Japanese History class for my Asian minor that I was taking, which I've currently dropped, but still have very much interest in the Asian history. Japan actually is having a little bit of an issue with this part of their World War II history that they have to deal with. Japan World War II, I will be talking about that. I will also be talking about the conception of the comfort women's system. I will also let you know about the women's experiences and what is currently happening with the comfort women in Japan. Many countries have a part of their history which they could hide, but this part of Japanese history must have a voice. According to Mariko Izuma, Japan has a very long relationship with World War II. It originally starts in Pearl Harbor, but it goes back further than that, actually 1931, when Japan went to China and tried to take over Manchuria. This was called the Manchurian Incident. They went over there to have business holdings, and they also wanted to expand their horizon off of the island of Japan itself. There were other issues in China other than this Manchurian Incident. They tried to take over Shanghai and make it a puppet state so that they could, again, expand their holdings within the country. It didn't work, and it ended up being a longer engagement than they had planned. A lot of the military soldiers were stuck there. Because of this longer engagement, there was a lot of issues and behavior among the soldiers of the Japanese military. The morale was really low, and this caused the soldiers to become demoralized, and also they were badly treated among the upper echelon of the officers. This led to a lot of immoral acts by the soldiers themselves, which included looting of a lot of the local areas and a lot of rape among the Chinese women. The Japanese military believed that in order to keep their soldiers in line, a morale boosting system was needed, and the system was called the comfort system. This here is a picture of some of the comfort women that were actually saved in 1945. Originally, they started off as only local Chinese prostitutes. They were used to serve the soldiers, but they were worried that this would cause for spies within a lot of the areas because the women couldn't be trusted according to the soldiers. These the comfort women were actually supposed to do conversation, sing songs, play games, but they were also made to serve sexually. The comfort women's system was also brought in because of prostitutes. The issue of sexually transmitted diseases was a big issue among the soldiers themselves. Syphilis and gonorrhea were two of the main types that were contracted among the soldiers, which caused for a lot of downtime when it came to the military procedures. The comfort women's system actually had women getting checkups weekly and monthly to make sure that they were not infected with these sexually transmitted diseases. They were served in little houses like this, where they're around the little box there. When they had to go and actually go to the hospital to get checked up, this is what they were going to, just a box. Bunch of doors, very small, very cramped. A lot of times they didn't have time to actually go through and test all the ladies, so it didn't really work out, and a lot of the soldiers ended up getting STDs anyway. Another issue is too, because of the amount of soldiers and the long amount of time that they had, they couldn't keep up. They couldn't keep up with the sexual demands of every single soldier there. So there wasn't enough women, and a lot of the women still became ill because of the amount of soldiers they had to serve. So Japan decided, well, we're gonna go and recruit some more women. So they would use the women in the Japanese mines, and they would also find Korean girls, because at this time, Korea was annexed underneath Japan. A lot of these girls were coerced or kidnapped, taken from their families. Quite a few of them were also sold by their families to get more money because a lot of the areas were poor. Currently, Japan is dealing with these comfort women protests. The women that are still surviving are there to make everybody aware of what is happening today. They wanted an official apology, but Japan doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that they did anything wrong. According to Jung Hyuk-kwak and Eon Jun Park, the Japanese government, which played the role of the agent responsible for wartime atrocities, tend to either deny the rationale for any collective responsibility or limit the extent of such responsibilities in terms of recompense and non-financial measures. They made a fund and they were just like, hey guys, you can have this, but that's not what they wanted. Japan has not apologized yet, according to 1991 when they had a lot of the lawsuits going on. And this has actually caused for a lot of international outcry, according to Mariko Izuma. They have tried to have statues like this one here in the United States to show everybody that this was an issue, this is going on, it's still going on today. Also, according to Yu Kyung, there's also a Korean children's books that talk about the comfort women system. The issue of Japan's comfort women system is one shrouded in secrecy. Japan continues to fight that they're not at fault, and to share with you a passage from a poem from Ishel Clark, a former comfort woman. I cannot reconcile this Hulumani with a girl 50 years ago, lips like pressed heart, neck long as reed, who never learned to write her own name. This Hulumani, bundled with thick 2 wool coats, bus ticket clenched tightly in gloved fist, to attend her hunter's rally, pushed the glass-covered police young enough to be her grandsons, in spitting distance of the Japanese embassy. And that's to conclude what they're currently going through right now for an official